Erik Erikson was a German-born American psychoanalyst and developmental psychologist. Born in 1902 in Frankfurt, Germany, Erikson initially trained as an artist and teacher. After meeting Anna Freud, Sigmund Freud's daughter, in Vienna in 1927, he entered psychoanalytic training and began working as a child analyst. This served an early foundation for his later focus on development across the lifespan. In 1933, with the rise of Nazism, Erikson emigrated to the United States, settling in Boston and holding clinical and teaching positions at Harvard and related institutions. At Yale and later the University of California, Berkeley, he moved beyond Freud's psychosexual focus by combining psychoanalysis with cultural and anthropological research. This broadened his understanding of how societal and cultural contexts influence development. His work culminated in his 1950 book Childhood and Society, where he first articulated the 8 stages of psychosocial development. These stages, each defined by a psychosocial crisis, reflect his synthesis of psychoanalytic insight with anthropological and cultural observation, framing identity not as fixed in early childhood, but as a lifelong, socially embedded process. Unlike Freud, Erikson believed that the ego has greater importance in guiding our actions than the id. We make conscious choices in life, and these choices focus on meeting certain social and cultural needs rather than purely biological ones. Humans are motivated, for instance, by the need to feel that the world is a trustworthy place, or that we can make a contribution to society. Erikson's theory is based on what he calls the epigenetic principle, which includes the notion that we develop through an unfolding of our personality in predetermined stages, and that our social environment and culture influence how we progress through these stages. This unfolding is done in stages of psychosocial development, where progress through each stage is in part determined by our success, or lack of success, in all the previous stages. Erikson identified 8 stages, each with a major psychosocial task to accomplish or crisis to overcome. He believed that our personality continues to take shape throughout our lifespan as we face these challenges. Stage 1. Trust versus mistrust. From birth to 12 months old, infants must learn that adults can be trusted. This occurs when adults meet a child's basic needs for survival. Caregivers who are responsive to their infant's needs help them develop a sense of trust. Their baby will see the world as a safe place. Unresponsive caregivers, on the other hand, can engender feelings of anxiety, fear, and mistrust. If infants are treated cruelly or their needs are not met appropriately, they will likely grow up with a sense of mistrust for people in the world. Stage 2. Autonomy versus shame and doubt. As toddlers begin to explore the world, they learn that they can control their actions and act on their environment. They begin to show preferences for certain things, such as food and toys. A toddler's main task is to resolve the issue of autonomy versus shame and doubt by working to establish independence. For example, a 2-year-old child may show signs of autonomy by choosing her clothes and dressing herself. Although her outfit might not be appropriate for the situation, her decision has an effect on her sense of independence. If denied the opportunity to choose, she may begin to doubt her abilities, which could lead to low self-esteem and feelings of shame. Stage 3. Initiative versus guilt. Once children reach the preschool stage, they are capable of initiating activities and asserting control through play and social interactions. According to Erikson, preschool children must resolve the task of initiative versus guilt. By learning to plan and achieve goals while interacting with others, preschool children can master this task. Initiative, a sense of ambition and responsibility, occurs when parents allow a child to explore and then support her choice. These children will develop self-confidence and feel a sense of purpose. Those who are unsuccessful at this stage, with their initiative failing or stifled by over-controlling parents, may develop feelings of guilt. Stage 4. Industry versus inferiority. During the elementary school stage, children face the task of industry versus inferiority. Children begin to compare themselves with their peers to see how they measure up. They either develop a sense of pride and accomplishment in their schoolwork, social activities, and family life, or they feel inferior and inadequate because they feel that they don't measure up. If children do not learn to get along with others or have negative experiences at home or with peers, an inferiority complex might develop into adolescence. Stage 5. Identity versus role confusion. In adolescence, children face the task of identity versus role confusion. An adolescent's main task is developing a sense of self. They struggle with questions such as, "Who am I?" and "What do I want to do with my life?" Along the way, most adolescents try on many different selves to see which ones fit. They explore various ideas, roles, and goals. Adolescents who are successful at this stage have a strong sense of identity and are able to remain true to their beliefs and values in the face of problems and other people's perspectives. Adolescents who are apathetic do not make a conscious search for identity or are pressured to conform to their parents' ideas, may develop a weak sense of self and experience role confusion. They will be unsure of their identity and confused about the future. Stage 6. Intimacy versus isolation. People in early adulthood are concerned with intimacy versus isolation. After we have developed a sense of self in adolescence, we are ready to share our life with others. However, if other stages have not been successfully resolved, young adults may have trouble developing and maintaining successful relationships with others. Erikson said that we must have a strong sense of self before we can develop successful, intimate relationships. Adults who do not develop a positive self-concept in adolescence may experience feelings of loneliness and emotional isolation. Stage 7. Generativity versus stagnation. When people reach their 40s, they enter the time known as middle adulthood, which extends to the mid-60s. The social task of middle adulthood is generativity versus stagnation. Generativity involves finding your life's work and contributing to the development of others through activities such as raising children, mentoring, and volunteering. During this stage, middle-aged adults begin contributing to the next generation, often through caring for others. They also engage in meaningful and productive work which contributes positively to society. Those who do not master this task may experience stagnation and feel as though they are not leaving a mark on the world in a meaningful way. They may have little connection with others and little interest in productivity and self-improvement. Stage 8. Ego, integrity versus despair. From the mid-60s to the end of life, we are in the period of development known as late adulthood. Erikson's task at this stage is called integrity versus despair. People in late adulthood reflect on their lives and feel either a sense of satisfaction or a sense of failure. People who feel proud of their accomplishments feel a sense of integrity and can look back on their lives with few regrets. However, people who are unsuccessful at this stage may feel as if their life has been wasted. They focus on what could have been. They may face the end of their lives with feelings of bitterness, depression, and despair. Erikson's 8 stages form a foundation for discussions on emotional and social development during the lifespan. It should be noted, however, that these stages or crises can occur more than once or at different times of life. For instance, a person may struggle with a lack of trust beyond infancy. Thus, Erikson's theory has been criticized for focusing too much on stages and assuming that the completion of one stage is a prerequisite for the next crisis of development. Moreover, his theory also focuses on the social expectations that are found in certain cultures, but not in all. For instance, the idea that adolescence is a time of searching for identity might translate well in the middle-class culture of the United States, but not as well in cultures where the transition into adulthood coincides with puberty through rites of passage, or where adult roles offer fewer choices. By and large, Erikson's view that development continues throughout the lifespan is very significant and has received great recognition. However, like Freud's theory, it has been criticized for focusing more on men than women, and also for its vagueness, making it difficult to test rigorously.